Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast, the world's leading authority on childcare marketing, mindset, expansion, and profitability. Each episode will feature interviews with the brightest minds in the childcare industry to guide you into becoming a smarter business leader. Our hosts have opened 10 schools while raising 5 children. They are certified business coaches and are the top-selling childcare business book authors of all time. This episode is sponsored by Childcare Genius Marketing. Let Childcare Genius Marketing help you get fully enrolled and fully staffed. Visit childcaregenius.com for more details. Let's welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast our hosts, Brian and Carol Dupre.
Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast.
We're your hosts, Brian and Carol Dupre.
Thanks so much for joining us today. I want to remind you this podcast episode is sponsored by Childcare Genius Marketing. If you need any kind of marketing services, whether it be a new website, if you need Google Ads, social media marketing, anything to do with marketing your school, reach out to us at Childcare Genius Marketing by visiting our website at childcaregenius.com/marketing. And we'll be here to help you fill your school. And today we have an amazing episode planned. This couple, Carol and I, got to know when we visited their multiple schools down in Huntsville, Texas. And that was a few months ago. And we've met them since at several different conferences, and they're just a lot of fun. So I think you'll really enjoy it. It's kind of funny. We have a couple laughs in there. It's a great couple. Hope you enjoy it.
Let's get Kaye and Rick on the line.
Hi, Kaye and Rick. Welcome to the Childcare Genius Podcast. How are you today?
I'm great, Brian. How are you and Carol?
Awesome. How you doing, Kaye? Good to see you. How's the weather in Texas?
It's actually a little chilly this morning.
Chilly for you is short weather for me. But we hope it warms up for you soon. We're so excited to have you on the podcast. Been wanting to have you on for a while. We were in Mexico with you a little over a week ago, and it kind of reaffirmed my decision. I said, we got to get them on the podcast. So I'm glad we were able to connect. And we were at your schools a few months ago down in South Texas and really enjoyed seeing your program. So we figured, let's get them on the podcast. And so before we get started, tell our audience a little bit about you and what you did before you got into this crazy childcare business.
Well, I didn't actually marry Kaye. I married a school. Before I was 30 years IT at Shell Oil. And I got married to this lovely lady here about 20 years ago. And when I retired, she got me to work at Tomorrow's Promise. Okay.
And I actually was a marketing person for a bank, and got tired of doing that. Was 21 hours away from sitting for the CPA exam when I was having fun teaching my 18-month-old child things, and ended up going for a master's degree in education. And he was going to a Montessori school, so then I wanted to get my Montessori certification. And when I moved to Huntsville, I opened a school.
Pretty unique story. Love that. So 20 years you've been working together side by side. Interesting dynamic. So let's learn all about your schools.
Tell us about your schools and why they're unique.
I feel like they're unique because we're the only Montessori schools within 20 or 30 miles. And, well, that's pretty unique in this part of the country. Okay.
Yeah, very unique.
Actually, it's more like 60 or 70 miles. We're the only Montessori school.
Better.
We also believe in having large playgrounds, and we are open long hours to serve our essential workers. We have 5 prisons in our town, and so we do a lot of shift work, and we stay open pretty much regardless of the weather. And so that's one of the other unique things about us is that we're here to serve those essential workers.
5 prisons in your area. That's I don't think I've ever met anybody who had 5 prisons in their area before, so that's kind of unique part of Texas. Is there any other part of Texas with 5 prisons?
No, one is in downtown Houston, and it's actually where all the executions take place. There's
No.
there's
Huntsville.
I'm sorry, downtown Huntsville. Said Houston, sorry.
No problem.
But anyway, there's 7 within the county. So our population has about 24,000 inmates, about 22,000 college students, and about 25,000 people that live here regularly that are just employed.
Oh, interesting dynamic. And you're the only Montessori school, which is great, gives you your great unique selling point for entire area. And it's nice not to have any competition, which is
Well,
great.
not everybody knows what a Montessori school is. We've been called the Monastery, the Montessori school, and the Rotisserie school. So, there's
see,
a
Rick,
lot
we're
of
in one of those-
education.
We're in a white collar and call it a monastery school. I mean, I could definitely see that for sure. So, what are some obstacles you faced when you tried to grow your business? We all have obstacles. What are some of those challenges that you had early on?
Well, getting qualified teachers is one, and financials is another. And Kaye can tell you more about that.
So, I would say the biggest thing for growth was changing my mindset, because for 20 years we had been happy with just, we bought a house next to the house that we already had, and kind of had grown into a little compound of 5 houses. And to open a second location and then a third location was a massive mind shift change.
Yeah, mindset is huge, Kate, for to make that shift. And once you do, it seems like businesses start to grow after that point, for sure. And finances, Rick, tends to be the one that hits people early on usually.
Mhm.
But we've had some people that have been in 20 years that sometimes financial hits them later on too. So I'm glad you're still here. So you must have tackled through them just fine. And we love working with you guys. So we know whatever challenge you have, you could face it head on with that good mindset, Kay.
How has coaching helped you grow your business?
Oh, I enjoy you guys' coaching. You always present something interesting, and I've learned stuff, and meeting the other business owners is helpful too. Okay.
It's very interesting when you talk about this profession, nobody really thinks about coaching. I mean, I know I didn't until I stumbled upon you one day. But everybody has a coach, like Michael Jordan had a coach, Tiger Woods has a coach. I've since discovered that a lot of these CEOs of big major corporations have coaches, and it's like, why not us? And so that was another huge mindset change was, oh, I might not know everything and I need to learn some other things,
I love that, Kay. Yeah, I'm reading a book right now, and the guy's a coach to billionaires. And the guy that's not a billionaire himself say, why would a billionaire want to be coached by a millionaire? Coaching is all about having somebody who could bring the best out in you and help you to find the magic within your own self. It's somebody who motivates you to do more and achieve more. A lot of times the answer is already within. It's just getting that answer out of you. And that's what a good coach does. And that's what our professional coaching team does. And we know how to get that Maximus, adventurous, fullness out of you and make it more profitable. That's always a bonus, more moolah on your pocket. That's always a little side thing there. But let's look long term. We went out, visit your schools. You've got multiple schools. You've been doing this a while. You kind of know what you're doing for sure. But where do you see yourself 3 years from now? What are some of your long term objectives?
I think we're probably going to open more schools eventually. It may take a while, but Kaye is the visionary in this thing, so I'll let her tell you.
Where are we at, Kay?
I am looking at property right now that might be in another town. I had done that a few years ago before we bought the third location, before we bought the third land here in our town. So I'm much more familiar now with buying land and possibly building on something. So I'm not ruling that out, that we acquire another piece of property or that we expand it to leasing something or something like that. But I've got to kind of get my systems and processes and a lot of the projects I got on my plate done right now before I'm focused on growing another location.
Love those priorities. And love the fact that you are thinking long term. That's where I think a lot of people get tunnel vision and they stop expanding. You know, been doing this 20 years. It's easy for you to just settle in and be comfortable where you're at. But I love the fact that, you know, I think hanging around a lot of our members, it makes you, the more you climb the mountain, the farther you can see, right?
And also realizing that you need to get your systems in place and perfect. Well, nothing's perfect, but as close to perfect as you can before you expand, because a lot of people expand and they don't have those systems in place and then they have problems.
Sure.
Yeah, when God told me to open the school, he didn't tell me how many children I was supposed to have or how many schools. He just told me to make a difference in children's life. So,
Which,
You
when
are.
visiting your schools, we see that you definitely are. That's for sure.
So you attended our CCG Live conference in Las Vegas last year. Would you recommend this conference to others?
I didn't actually get to attend last year. I had to stay home and take care of our ailing puppy. But I look forward to going to this year. And Kaye got to go last year.
and when I got there, I was so sad that I couldn't bring Rick with us. And, you know, I pulled you aside, Brian, and said, I want to join, you know, and you kind of told me not to at the moment. And then I managed to tell Rick, I said, okay, I want to go to Jamaica. And when he went to when we went to Jamaica together, he's the one that was like, we need to join this group.
Timing is everything, Kay, and we don't oversell people, as you know. When we know the time is right, then we work with people. So your timing and your opportunity was good. It was good to have you both together. We like people to make that decision as a team. And you guys are a dynamic duo. You like Batman and Robin. I won't tell anybody who Batman really is or who Robin is, but I think people can figure it out themselves. We know who you guys are a power couple. We absolutely love coaching you guys. So what are some of your secrets? You know, you got a secret sauce. Carol and I work next to each other each and every day. You guys work together side by side. You're always together. You wear the same clothes. I think you share the same clothes. That's a special secret. If you're a Dynasty member, you know that they're always wearing identical outfits, which is the cutest thing. But I do think they share clothes, which is okay if you're doing laundry. That works. You know, it's easy on the laundry day, that's for sure. But what are some of your secrets to working in a business together as a couple?
Well, I feel like we have a unique relationship. She tells me what I need to do, and I go ahead and do it. She actually does listen to my input. I've talked her out of doing things I thought was a mistake, but I have to admit that most of the things she does right. I mean, she collects properties, I collect cars, and which one do you think's going up in value?
Good point.
Okay.
The interesting thing when he retired from Shell 15 years ago was I kind of thought when he came in, he would be as gung-ho about the school and everything as I am. And it took me a little while to realize that he did not have the same passion that I had for childcare and that he approached things differently. And so slowing down and listening to his ideas and things like that, because I had been running the school by myself for 10 years at that point. And so getting input as to how to do things and stuff like that was a new thing. And realizing that he wasn't just ready to go in that classroom and deal with a bunch of 2-year-olds, but that's not quite his cup of tea, was kind of an eye-opener. And, you know, you have to be able to communicate and talk to each other about those things and not just assume that the other person has the same ambitions and the same talents and things like that you do. And I think that's sometimes things that the founder of the company, if you're working with your spouse, the founder doesn't necessarily realize that the other one may not have exactly the same passion that you do.
For
Me
sure.
too.
That's really good. And Rick, I'm right with you. I'm not passionate about working in a classroom with any children, let alone 2-year-olds. It's just not where my passion lies. But Carol's really good at that. Um, but sit me in a room full of financials, and I'm happy as a clam. And put me with systems and organization and financials. I'm happy, happy, happy behind the scenes. And I think a lot of the men are there. And sometimes it's reversed. I've seen a few men that are really good dealing with staff and as directors, and then their wives handle the finances. That works well too. But um, no judgments there. But Rick, I'm with you. I think you and I are a lot more like here. Carol, you're a lot more like a.
Hey, maybe we should try that, Rick. You handle the teachers and
You might not have any teachers.
Yeah, I'm with you there. So anytime you want to get somebody fired, have Rick work with Rick for a day. They'll quit, right?
If you had it to do all over again, what would you do differently?
As long as I got to be with my wife, I would not change a thing.
Oh, all the women are going, oh.
You can play the what if game all the time, but if you had gone through the experiences that you've gone through, you don't appreciate or you don't have the knowledge that you have today. So all those struggles, all those battles, and all those different things that you see as roadblocks or this, that, you learn from every single one of them. So to go back and change anything, even if I went back and changed that I met Rick 10 years earlier, I wouldn't be the same person I am now. So, it wouldn't work. Our relationship wouldn't work the same way it does. So we don't really play the what if game because one, you can't, and two, we wouldn't be the same people.
Love that. Okay, yeah, and that's kind of our philosophy too. You don't want to change the struggles. But if you had to pick something,
There's
and
something that you did in the past, and you're like, if I had done that differently, things would be different. Or if I had done something else instead.
right, we're looking for a learning moment that you
Right.
could teach somebody else. So nobody gets to that pivot point.
Something that you did that you learned from.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
example. There's something you could do differently. And I understand exactly what you said, but this won't mess up the space-time continuum. You'll be exactly where you are now. We just want something we could teach, a teaching moment to potential listeners here. You
I
think of
would
anything?
work on mindset, and I would get a coach sooner.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
think
have to
that's a
agree with
good.
Kay.
Yeah, mindset you'll never lose. And I always say, and I've learned this from my coaches, is your business will never outgrow your self-image, and your self-image will never grow without mindset work. And so unless you work on you, your business will always be, your income won't rise, and you'll always be stagnant because your income will rise in direct proportion to your mindset. And that's 100%. I mean, you can't have a millionaire mindset and make $1 million. Unless you get a millionaire mindset, you're not going to make $1 million. It's not going to happen. And to be a billionaire, you got to have a billionaire mindset. So it's just one of those things where the farther you climb the mountain, the further you can see. So, Kate, thank you. I love that. And lastly, we just got back from a week in Mexico with you, and you guys were there, I think, almost 2 weeks at our annual Dynasty Mastermind trip. Learned any good nuggets there? We're hanging out with our high level. It was 53 of us. So it was a nice, small, intimate group. Any nuggets, special nuggets, like secret sauce you got out of there that you want to share? I'll let you share one thing.
Rigoberto taught me a few things that I didn't know, and I was very grateful for that. It's probably not anything I should share here, but it was pretty neat.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, and sometimes keep things private. That's all as well. Good. How about you, Kay?
I'm going to have to ask now what Rigoberto taught you. I really liked how, you focus on, or you spend some time focusing on the relationship that the couples have that are there. Because it is hard for some people to work with their spouse. And there's challenges with that. And even if you don't necessarily work with them day to day, there's challenges in this business that no other business has. No other business has the unique set of challenges that we have. I mean, if a person doesn't show up to their Walmart job, okay, you just close a cashier's lane. It's not a life and death problem. And so people in the regular world don't understand our world. And so for you guys to kind of help with that communication and that thing to make couples be able to talk a little bit better to each other, or share goals and things like that, I think that's really unique and really special.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we pride ourselves being the only coaching group that coaches to the whole person and not just the business.
Mhm.
Everybody wants to focus on the business, but if all the other pieces in your life are a mess, your business is going to be a mess. And we want your relationship good. We want your mental health good. So we look at all that and we coach to the whole person. So thank you, Kaye, for noticing that. And we love working with couples. Karen and I were in marriage ministry for many years. So we know the challenges of couples working together. We've seen it firsthand. And we love bringing that dynamic into our coaching group. So thank you for that. And we want to thank you for taking time out of your busy lives to come, record a podcast with us. The people who listen to us, we have lots of followers. They get a lot out of these by hearing your story, and you motivate, just like other people before you have blazed a trail that you've listened to and heard. And all of a sudden now you're hanging out with them on a beach in Mexico. Those people that, hey, I remember you from the podcast. I remember you. Now you're one of them. And welcome to the podcast club. So thanks so much again, and hope you guys have a good rest of the day. And we'll see you at the next Child Care Genius Conference.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you very much, guys.
Bye-bye. That was funny.
They're a very unique couple.
Definitely unique. Always wearing the same shirt. And I think they swap clothes, but no judgments.
I don't know. Their bathing suits match too. I don't think they swapped those.
Yeah, but him wearing a bikini bottom just doesn't put it. I'm just kidding, Rick. We have a lot of fun together. They're a lot of fun. And inspired, Carol and I we try to sync up clothes on our podcast. So I guess we do the same thing. We just don't wear the same thing, but we wear the same color coordination. So we have a lot of fun with that. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to our podcast. And we really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button.
So you won't miss a future episode to Child Care Genius Podcast. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Child Care Genius Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a future episode. Don't forget to visit our website at childcaregenius.com to see a list of services we offer to help grow your childcare business. Until next time, thank you for being a part of the Child Care Genius community.